Success isn't given, it's earned. And earning it means becoming the person who deserves it. The bottom line is where we cut through the chaos to simplify success, uncovering the strategies, mindset, and resilience it takes to win. Real stories, expert insights, and practical tools. Because the only way to the top is by putting in the work. This is The Bottom Line.
We are back on The Bottom Line. In the last segment, we explored why even smart, capable people struggle with managing their finances. Now we're tackling an even bigger misconception is a good way to put this. The idea that making more money will solve all your financial struggles. Simi, so many people believe that if they can just earn more, all their financial problems will go away. Why is that not always the case?
Yeah. And people that tend to feel like they want to earn more and it will all go away are usually people that will end up being workaholics and stress a lot about their money, make sure they have enough in savings, and it's never enough. There's no number that's enough, because that feeling that they feel like it's just a hair breath away, we know what happens. When you earn a little more money, that goalpost moves. Because the studies will show you that it takes about 24 to 36 months until that becomes your new normal. So now your lifestyle just increased with that little extra money. So we've got to earn a little more. And so you're on this rat race of constantly trying to earn just a little more, just a little more, just a little more. When does it stop?
That's a pretty powerful point. That's a really good one. I see this a lot with entrepreneurs I deal with on a regular basis. They almost, people can idolize their finances. Money becomes an idol, and we chase it, thinking if we just get to this point, and it always changes. It's almost like a revelation has to happen. You have to realize, oh, wait a minute. During this time of chasing, and here's a great example. Early in my career, I worked my way through a big manufacturing company. I took over the company. I was younger. I was the director of operations and chief operations officer of a very, very large manufacturing company. And I was recently married, and we had a child on the way. And I was so lost in the sauce of accolades, achievement, and the financial gains that I started losing the love and the value of being at home and being present. It's like a cycle I was creating for myself that, I need to work more, do more, work harder, make more money so I can provide a better life for them. And it took my wife sitting me down and saying, hey, you're not being the man you vowed to be. You're trying to give us everything, but the only thing we need is you. And I think that's such a powerful thing to look at. So what are the real factors that determine whether someone is financially secure?
What you mentioned before, and the financial secure is a feeling. Let's just talk about that feeling. But when you mentioned before, you mentioned a financial goal. Very often goals are not in line with our values. So I had a client, and I have clients that come in and their goal is to make $1 million. If their goal is to make $1 million and they need to do in 100-hour weeks to get to that goal, and they're motivated to do anything to get to their $1 million, but then they lost their value. They didn't recognize that at that point, the kids went away on their own. By the time they turn around, they've lost out so much in life and they're feeling horrible. They've gotten to their goal and they're miserable. And then they come to me. Why am I miserable? I have so much money. I made the money I earned. That was my goal. What happened? So my goals and values are not so in line. So what would someone need to do to be financially secure? You need to really check in with yourself. What are my values? When you know what your values are, knowing how to make financial decisions becomes so much simpler. When I was younger, I thought having a clean house is the most important thing. I raised a house full of children. Most important thing. But then I realized I wanted all the neighborhood kids in my house to play with my kids. And if I wanted that, I needed to let go of that. My value was more that my children should have more fun in my house. I can protect them or whatever else it was for me. And so that changed and shifted my goals. So our goals could shift and change. We do. We are humans. We evolve. And so creating the financial security, maybe today will look different than in 5 years, but starting to have those conversations with yourself.
That was so powerful, and you touched base on a topic that I like to talk about a lot when I mentor people, and it's making sure your core values aren't aligned with your actions. Make sure what you're doing, the way you're acting, the things you're trying to become is actually in line with what you believe and what you truly care about. We can get lost in that interpretation of I'm doing this for this core value, but at the same time, you're compromising another for that. And that is that constant battle, that conflict we run into is feeling like it's never enough. We're not doing enough. We're not providing enough. We're not becoming enough. And it's a trap. It's got to be able to take that step back and realize you're doing well. You got to have your priorities straight. You got to value the things that you can control. And it's like, there's that old saying, you can't fit a camel through the eye of a needle. I mean, you can't take it with you when you go. So having those relationships be prioritized, it should be the number one thing, right? So here's another good question. What's the number one habit successful people use to build true financial independence?
What you said before. How much is my enough? How much is enough? What's enough for me may not be enough for you. How often, and we have a game that we play, it's the My Enough game. And I very often will have clients in, and let's say one of the things is how much is enough? And it's 1 to 5, right? And one is how much is enough insurance? And it goes from like no insurance necessary to the best insurance, somewhat in between. And I remember having a couple here and she puts in best insurance and he puts in no insurance. They never had this conversation, but they knew they had stress when it came to insurance, but they never had this conversation. So now we said, what about not having insurance is important to you, that it's not like on your enough, it's like the lowest thing possible. And he says, well, I made calculations. Health insurance is so costly nowadays that it just pays to pay out of pocket. And she says, well, where I come from, we got the best, so we can have any opportunity at our beck and call. Medical things are not something you play around with, right? Right. So how much is your enough? So we have these enough is how much house is enough? How much food is enough? What does a day off and entertainment for the children look like enough? What does vacation look like? Is vacation a walk in the park or is vacation a cruise? What in between is enough? And if you have number 5s on all those enoughs, that usually signals a very unhappy person, because everything needs to be the highest and the best. So learning about your enough and starting to question yourself, well, it's okay for me to have takeout once a week, but you know what? It's really, it's okay for me to buy takeout once a week, even though right now I'm doing it every night and my enough is really once a week. Maybe I could take a look at that and say, hey, I don't really need to do takeout every night. That's really a cost plus.
I really like that game. As a matter of fact, that's going to have to be something that I employ in my household, because one of the things my wife was really good about was helping me identify what is enough. Because like I said, with my background, where I come from, the way I was raised, I had to idolize the dollar for a while to understand, like, okay, I need to develop these skills, these work ethics, all these different things. And I was in that pursuit of more for a reason that really wasn't worth it. And my wife was always so good about, hey, we don't need that. That's not in alignment with who you say you are, what you vowed to be, what you plan to do, what your dreams are. You're trying to go in a direction that isn't you. This is enough. And it's like that turned into a constant conversation. Now, like every week we try to sit down and talk about, okay, where are we? Where are we going? What do we like? What do we not like? What do we want to change? And I like the idea of bringing that game into the mix. That makes so much sense. It gets that conversation going. And it helps set those boundaries within our heart, our mind, and our relationship. So there's so much power in some of these concepts you're bringing up. What are some other strategies that you found that couples can turn this into an enjoyable topic where it becomes something they can look forward to?
Enjoyable topic, money. Enjoyable topic, money. Different strategies to do this. Do we play the game cash flow for fun? Do we play, what games are we going to play today? What books are we going to read together so that it becomes something that, like, the book says it, should we do it? Now we can have a conversation. It's the book against us. What are we doing? Right. So you want to facilitate maybe any of those money books that are helpful. Money games. There's so much out there that you can make fun of, but and work with. And I really appreciate, and I want to point out that you had this level of humbleness that allowed you to respect your wife's opinion and take a step back and say, oh, yeah, honey, that is enough for me. As opposed to saying, no, my way, I do need to earn that. It is important. So the level of respect that you have for your wife is really incredible. And for all your listeners out there, that's where you want to go. You want to sort of be able to, I love to explain this in the essence. The essence, get the essence out of the person, the conversation. It's not important about saying all the words back. Grab the essence of who your person is. Who is this person you're living with? They may look like they're a frivolous spender, or they may look like a nervous person, but at their core, who are they? Who are they at their core? I love to use the example of water that has a flavor in it. Have you ever noticed they have sparkling water with maybe infusion of strawberry, blueberry? Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all the time.
So if you look at the side, it says 0 under everything and all the ingredients. So how do they actually get the flavor into there?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So the way they do it is they boil up that fruit, that strawberry or blueberry, and they capture the smoke, the essence of the fruit, and they put it into the bottle. And that's what you want to do with your spouse, with your partner, with your relationship person, to create that feeling of connection. Just grab the essence of who they are, the essence of the conversation. That may look like when you come home and my husband says to me, "How was your day?" And I go, "Why were you late?" He says, "It looks like you're worried." As opposed to, "Well, I was late because why are you getting uptight about me? And why are you controlling?" Right? He grabs the essence, and that diffuses everything. And now we have connection. So I appreciate that from you, Ryan.
That's so I haven't thought of it like that. I haven't looked at it like that. So talking to you is definitely helping me kind of see a different picture there, and it definitely wants to reinforce some of those good behaviors, right? I think there is a fine line between respect and honoring the person that you collaborate with, the person you live life with. And to be honest with you, I think this conversation is extremely powerful. I know it's helping me, and I believe it's going to be helping our viewers in so many different ways. And I truly look forward to continuing this conversation. So everybody that's watching and listening to this, do not go away. This is getting really good, really powerful. And I recommend you stick around, because we're going to have a lot more on the bottom line.